Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be talking about books that you need to read in 2017. These were some of my favorite books that I read in 2016, and I think they really are going to kick off your new year to a great start. I am so excited about this new year. I've been talking a lot about it and I'm just really excited. I'm setting no expectations and I'm going into it doing things that I didn't think I was gonna do. I'm currently on a social media ban, so if I'm not posting on Instagram or Twitter, that's why. So these are a couple books that I think you need to read. These are all my kind of self-help books. I'm gonna be doing another video talking about my favorite books that I read in 2016 that weren't just self-help books, but these are books I really feel like are going to enrich your life and add things that I felt like I needed this year, and just some really good books, like just books that really challenged me this year. First book that I want to talk about is one of my absolute favorite books I read this year. It is The Desire Map by Danielle Laporte. I am actually going to be doing her Goals with Soul program all throughout January. You can sign up on her website. I'm gonna leave it down below. I do have an affiliate link, so if you want to check into any of her stuff, I'm buying one of her planners. I absolutely loved this program. Essentially what it is we are going about getting the things that we want wrong. We should be doing things based on how we want to feel rather than just what we want to accomplish. And I think it's so amazing. So her whole thing are your core desired feelings. How do you want to feel? What do you want to do to get to how you want to feel? And it's just so cool because I think as somebody who really is a very goal-oriented person, it's nice to kind of slow down sometimes and be like, why do I do this? And I think when you go back and read through some of the things that you write in here, you just realize like, wow, I never even thought about that. Like I didn't even think before about some of the reasons why I wanted what I wanted. Next book is You'll Get Through This by Max Lucado. I just recently finished this. So this is kind of really good if you're coming off of 2016, kind of broken, not necessarily broken, but you just had some bad experiences in 2016. I know we all can agree that it wasn't the greatest year, and I think this is great to read. Even if it's a small, minute thing that you're going through, it's really, really nice. And just this book, he talks about things that are so comforting and just, it's really, really, I really, really loved this book. I would highly recommend this to anybody who, you know, again, you either went through a traumatic experience or you're just having a rough time. Sometimes that happens for us. Our lives are not always perfect. And this was a great book to kind of just get through that and just talk about that. And he talks about in the Bible, the life of Joseph and how his life kind of just did this huge 180. Like he went from being the favorite child in his family to being sold into slavery to then becoming the, you know, he was the right hand of Pharaoh. He was the second most powerful person in all of Egypt. So it was definitely amazing to read. I think just some of the things that he talks about in here, again, a basic book, but something that's just, we don't always think about these things. It's okay to read a book that's not super challenging all the time. Next book I have not finished, but it is something I would highly recommend from so far of what I have read of it. It is Grit by Angela Duckworth, The Power of Passion and Perseverance. I love the idea of this book. I watched her TED Talk a long time ago and fell in love with just her idea and her methods. Essentially what she says is it's not about the smartness inside of a person. It's not about the intelligence. It's how hard they work. She started out as a marketing executive and then quit her job to teach math to like 5th graders in New York, I think in like Brooklyn, and she ended up realizing that her best students were not necessarily the smartest students, but the students who worked the hardest. People who have to work harder to do what other people have to do generally. It's the whole concept of grit. And so she does this thing called the grit scale, and she goes into the Air Force Academy and looks at their, like the grit scale. It's just very, very interesting. Love books about psychology. I've always loved psychology. So to me, things like that always just intrigue me. Very, very interesting. The next book is another book that I have not finished yet, but I have loved so far. It is called Presence, Bringing Your Boldest Self to Your Biggest Challenges by Amy Cuddy. She also did a TED Talk. I absolutely love TED Talks. I think I'm gonna link a couple of my favorite ones down below. And this one is just about our body language and how our body language translates into things in our lives, and according to what kind of body language you have before an interview or before a date or whatever is determining how we feel. And she just kind of talks about power poses, and I know a lot of people think they're really funny and it's kind of stupid, but I think it's cool again to see the psychology behind something. It's kind of like a placebo effect, even necessarily if it isn't doing actually anything to your brain, it's subconsciously doing it because you think it is. Like that just trips me out. And so she talks about how you're supposed to do these power poses before you go into interviews, and it raises your testosterone levels, which makes you, you know, more confident, blah, 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 blah. So it's just very interesting. I loved her TED Talk. I love the idea of the book, and I've loved getting to read it so far. Those are two more fact factual books. The other ones are more like feel-good books. And then the last book I want to talk about is a planner. You need to get in 2017 and get a planner. So this is the planner I'm using at the current moment. It is the Passion Planner. It's pretty good. I mean, honestly, there are things about it that I wish I could change, but it just looks like this. You put a lot of different things down here, blah, 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 you know, just goals, yada, yada, yada. I'm not gonna be using this one for too much longer. I'm gonna use it for a little bit longer, but I ordered Danielle Laporte's, which matches up with the Desire Map, so I'm so excited about that. But I think having a planner really gets you prioritizing what it is that you need to be doing. If you're not writing stuff down, you're gonna forget it. Honestly, nobody has that good of a memory, even I don't, and I'm always like, nah, I can remember it. No, you can't. Honestly, you can't. I missed an interview the other day because I forgot. So, you know, just write stuff down. It's really helpful. This one's nice because it helps you write down your goals. So if there's something you're really wanting to accomplish this year, this is a great way to do it. I just think coming into 2017, we should give ourselves the best foot forward we possibly can, by what we're reading, by what we're influencing, by what we're listening to, whatever it may be. I think it's really good to kind of just give ourselves the most positive outlook we possibly can. So those are some of my favorite books that I think you need to read in 2017. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you back here later.
What if we left today? What if we said goodbye to safe and sound? What if